Hey, Joe, your best friend in the world dumped an entire candle in my drain this morning.
Why did you have a candle so close to your drain?
Oh, no, I didn't. She brought it from her room because she has one of those lamps that melts the wax.
Yeah.
So she carried it to her bathroom and dumped it down the sink.
Okay. I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt.
No, she didn't knock it in there. She purposely dumped it down the drain. And I said, why did you do that? And she said, I just wanted to see what would happen.
Oh.
I know you'd appreciate that because that could happen in your house at any given time.
Oh, it has. It has. But I was trying to give her the benefit.
Is it awful to say that she would see what happened as she helped me clean it up?
I told her I was sending her to live with Jill. And she was like, okay, like not offended, just fine.
That would not be a punishment.
I was like, I can't even look at you. I'm sending you to live with Jill. And she was like, all right.
Now, see, it's funny because my grown and gone kids are they're a different kind of pain in my rear. So, like, even though they're grown and gone and married and have their own families, that's what people say to me. Oh, I have grown children. Like, what do you mean? Mine literally call me 10 times a day, every day. I still have to fix everything.
You are parenting still those older kids.
I still parent those big ones every day. Literally, my 30-year-old son called me probably 42 times this week to fix things. And I'm like, dear Lord, like, what would you people do if I changed my number? I think that would be hilarious, honestly.
You should just shut it off for like one day just to see what they would do, and the world would end.
Listen, so I have not been feeling well, and the one day I slept for like hours in the sun in a chair because I needed vitamin D. And I'm not joking. My son and his wife came here because they could not get a hold of me. I'm like, God. Yeah, he's 30. Julia, you don't know him. He's 30. And they could not find me. They couldn't get a hold of me, so they came here. I'm like, what would happen to this whole family?
Oh, you are
I'd love to find out.
You are the keystone for sure. I feel like they would all melt without you because your phone does never stop ringing.
Never. I still fix everything. That's why, Christina, I'm not gonna lie, I am jealous that like you kind of don't have that. I have lots of everyday fixing, parenting, babying. My 20-year-old texted me this morning. She's going to nursing school, and she called me this morning. Could you please call the college and do my FAFSA? You're 20. Do your own stuff. So yeah. I never get a minute to be sick. So.
And every so often I sit around and I kind of beat myself up for like when the kids it would have been nice to do especially now. Even before, you would see the being on a hayride with your family, and you're like, "Oh, that would be so much." I mean, we did that, and it was a nightmare. It was somebody was
like, that's not fun.
The hay is poking my butt. It's cold out here. I don't want to be here.
He's sitting next to me. He's touching me.
Someone always has to pee as soon as you get on the hayride, and someone's always dying of thirst as soon as you get on the hayride.
Or somebody picks the biggest pumpkin, and they can't carry it.
Sorry. Yeah, and then you carry it.
A T-Rex. My arms are this long. So imagine me trying to carry my 4 kids' pumpkins with my T-Rex arms. It is not enjoyable. I bought pumpkins at Aldi. They're sitting in the front yard. They were $4 a piece. Yeah. That's what they get this year.
We did go to the pumpkin patch, but my rule, my hard and fast rule, it's been for Mina's 17 or 18. It's been 18 years. If you can't carry your own pumpkin, you're not getting it. So they have to carry.
That's a good rule, but nobody in my house follows any rules, so I don't know
really.
Yeah.
Whine and cry, and then you end up carrying it because you're about to miss the darn tractor, and
then you'll be there for another hour waiting for the next one. Yeah, no, hard pass. It was $88 last year for 4 pumpkins and the hayride, and everyone complained. One kid peed their pants. I'm carrying these 4 pumpkins. I was like, this is never ever happening again. It's like the Wild West here. Like nobody follows any rules.
Yeah, you're like, we are making core enjoyable family memories, and you're gonna have fun.
I'm like, I never got to do any of this stuff. Like I was like locked in the basement with some dolls and some Legos. Like I we never did anything fun like as a kid. And I like looked at everyone else's and I was like, wow, that's so cool. I can't wait to do it with my own family. And then I do it and I'm like, this is why no one did it with me. They just let me play with my Legos because this is a nightmare.
Yeah. It's why do we make ourselves miserable? I don't know why.
Then you're miserable the whole way home. Then you're like, don't even look at me.
Right.
Don't even talk to me. I don't like you. I'm not feeding you. Just
Yeah.
Be feral, eat a Hot Pocket. Like it's over today. Parenting is hard. I'm like in the thick of it though. Like I really am. They're little. I got like a preteen and I have to monitor her Snapchat. Like I never realized that was going to be like a part of parenting, is like looking at the weird stuff they post and telling them like why it's weird and why it shouldn't be reposted. I can't. Sorry, I'm like unhinged today. I cannot.
Did you take your
medicine? I think it goes.
No.
I love the way we check each other. Did you take your medicine? Do you?
I can tell when she does not take her Adderall.
Well, she mothers her own children, but she's also like my other mother. I mean, there's only 10 years between us, but still she has to mom me because I can't function without her. I did talk to her yesterday, and I was
she was like 100 miles an hour, and she was like spitting
Cheez-Its. I was spitting Cheez-Its right in your face.
and I just stood there, and I'm like. And she just kept going. And I said, did you take your Adderall this morning? She said, no, I did not. Okay. We're good.
Maybe she should give a couple pills to you so that when you're together and you could tell she didn't take it, you could just reach into your bag, not say anything, and put your hand out. And
you're just like an M&M. Like
I would take it. She could feed me like a baby bird. I would accept it.
Yeah. Listen, right. My Riker did not have his medicine since Monday. And it was rough here. And I try to be that parent because the kind of mom I am is like, even though you want to like, you know, I'm like, how do I always tell everybody, how do you think he feels? How do you think that little body feels with all that going on? But let me tell you, 4 days without it.
That's rough.
I got a text message yesterday from the teacher at 9:18 said he's doing great. Everything's okay. I couldn't get the doctor to send me another script. And so literally 9:45. He just licked the paint. I said, he'll be fine. He's eating a lot of paint. He's good. Just let him go. And then she texted me back later. He couldn't take his reading test because he is trying to stick his pencil in the ceiling. I'm like, he's just... I said, I promise I'll have it. If I have to make it, I will.
You have a lab in the basement.
Yes, I'll do something. And like I said, I feel bad for him because we
are mandated reporters. We cannot tell each other when we lock our children in the basement. Okay. Just reminding y'all.
Okay. Well, I just felt bad for him because he had such a bad week, and it was Red Ribbon Week. So it was like Cowboy Day one day, whatever day, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like he didn't get to enjoy anything because he was all over the place. So next week, I'm going to dress him up something different every single day by himself.
Aw, that's cute.
I really love that, actually. I really love that.
Well, because I know he missed it this week, and I'm sure he had lunch with the principal several days this week.
No. Well, we didn't participate.
That's not like a benefit. Lunch with the principal is not like.
Well, he thinks it is. He doesn't care. He told me he likes it.
That works. That's good.
And real quick, Chrissy, is the new principal pregnant? Because Brecker seems to think she's pregnant.
I mean, she's my age. I don't think.
Okay, I was just wondering because he talks about like he wants to have a baby.
I doubt it. She has older kids. She's like 42, I think. I'm gonna say maybe, probably not, but I can find out. I'll do a little creeping.
Yeah, because like I said, well, Riker wants to have a baby shower for her. They've bonded a lot lately. So.
Leah's cool. I mean, she's really cool. I much prefer her to who's there now. But my kids didn't do Red Ribbon Week either. So if you'd like to make up our own days next week, my kids would be down.
Okay, I'll send you a text. We'll make up a week.
I couldn't get my life together this week. Once again, I'm out of Adderall. Walgreens has none. I'm struggling, riding struggle bus. This is coffee. This is heavy caffeinated tea. I'm gonna try to self-medicate.
Well, I mean, I think all this kind of leads in really well to our topic this week of kind of having enough of yourself to go around. Okay. Because go ahead. No.
I'm kind of just here to listen because there's not enough of me to go around. So I wanted to hear what you all had to say because I'm tapped out. I got the white flag. If I had something, I would wave the white flag. So.
Oh, same. My Facebook status one day this week was just 3 white flags. I actually came because I was hoping that you seasoned mothers could give me some help because there's not enough of me. And you guys survived. Like, you have successful adult children, you have successful adult children, you have an almost adult child. Like,
She's not
help me.
Look at me. Don't look at me. There is no success here.
I think I mean, this is not a topic that there's an answer for, and I think that's what we need to acknowledge is there are so many responsibilities now in life, and we are doing it by ourselves, where maybe centuries ago we would have had a village around us for people to kind of, maybe we had family local, in maybe the early 1900s. So maybe we didn't move away from family, which, good thing, bad thing, I don't know, I mean, that 50-50 maybe. But, there may have been other people around to kind of keep an eye on our kids or, do other things. But now we're working more. We have more expectations. And I just don't think that what society expects of us and what we expect of ourselves is reasonable. And so I don't feel like there's a silver bullet to how do you have enough of yourself to go around. But I think if we all think of those slices in time where maybe we felt like we had it together, those are valuable experiences that we can talk about a little bit, or at the very least kind of share with the families, the parents who are listening to us who feel the same way we feel. At least they know that they're not alone in this feeling, and that so many other people feel like that. But I think our goal when we get together and we talk and we share, we don't share the pictures that we would put on Instagram. We share like the other side of the camera and the chaos that gets you to that smiling picture of, like the happy family. We share all those pictures that go in the trash of, just one smile. All I want is one smile. Hold that pumpkin. Stop touching your sister. But yeah, I mean, I think we feel like I'm right there with you some days, Jill, with the how can you be all the things that society wants you to be?
And I think a big thing is, Chrissy hit it on the head. We look at what we had when we were little, and it was a totally different time, but Chrissy didn't have those experiences. So she thought, you know what? Everybody else was having this. I want my kids to have it. And so you do all this. You get the hot chocolate, you get the apple cider, you go to the pumpkin patch. It's not what it's cracked up to be. And I think that we go in with so many expectations, like it's going to be this Hallmark movie. And instead of realizing who we've brought to the pumpkin patch with us, I think that's a big thing. Like, we all want this perfect thing. And like, I know myself that I have to get myself in a good mind space because they're kids. And I know my kids. So if I'm going to the pumpkin patch, let's get this going. Like, you know what I mean? Let's try to enjoy it. And then once it starts getting ugly, we got to go. And I think it's hard because we all want these great core memories for our kids. And my kids are going to be in therapy for years. They really, really are, because I think it's just hard because you're right. I look at Facebook and I look at these people. Meanwhile, I know them, and I'm like, there's no way. Like, I know you. You're a screamer. Your kid doesn't listen. So I know darn well that your pumpkin patch trip didn't go that well. I know it. Or I was there. I seen it. But so you get this. this idea of what life should be, and then you look at yours and you think, my kid's crying, one's throwing corn at the other one, somebody fell off the tractor, the hayride, and then Joe Schmo posts these pictures and you're like, my life doesn't look like that. And
No,
it's fine. My
nothing
life does
like
not.
that. Yeah. I'm sick of seeing people's clean houses and their like fall decorations, and it's like, I got clothes baskets piled up in the corner of my dining room, guys. Like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I incapable of doing that? I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah. Well, I think that's it, right? So all these pictures we see or all these expectations we have for ourselves, it's because of 1 second or one square, right? If I turned my camera around, you'd see 4 uncarved pumpkins that have been sitting there for a week. And that pumpkin patch picture we had of everybody smiling was literally 1 second where I threatened them with no pumpkins for the rest of their lives if they didn't just smile, and that's what everybody's going through. We all are, nobody has enough to go around. We're just, faking it till we make it kind of thing.
I've noticed. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Christina.
Well, I was going to say, I think that what we need to do, though, is as human beings, so as a man or a woman or whatever, we need to stop and think for ourselves, spend some time thinking about it, and think to ourselves, like, what is important? What matters to me? What do I care about? Not what does society say I should care about? Not what do my friends or external pressure? What do I want? What is important to me? And I think that I came to, for me, this decision a long time ago that I could have everything, but I couldn't have it all at once. And so, there were times in my life, like when I went back to college and I like potty trained 2 kids while I was in college and I was working. And I decided like college was going to be something for me that was fun because it was important to me. And that was like my fun thing that I did. So that was like my hobby. So I tried to reframe my thinking, but also like in some ways, like, I don't care what other people think. And that's not easy to do at all. And now that I'm like way, way, way beyond that, I can look back and I still do, as you're falling asleep in bed at night or as you're rolling over in the middle of the night and you realize that you're replaying like the time that you didn't make the paper mache whatever for your child's 3rd grade play and you ruined their entire life, right? Like you're replaying all those parenting mistakes. And I beat myself up over it. And I have to remember that the human being that I am today is not the human being that I was back then, because, I was always so worried about money because we didn't have it. I didn't have enough money to always keep the lights on, and pay the mortgage and do all of these things. So, it's easy to kind of think about, I should. And, I even watch like this gentle parenting stuff and it's great. We might all love to be gentle parents, but you can't always have a 20-minute discussion with your child about giving them choices about which shoes do you want to wear. And let me talk to you about why you should, like, have you thought through what your plan is if you don't take a coat to school? All sounds great, but when you've got people waiting for you at work and you're going to get in trouble if you're not at work and your kids you're going to get a phone call from the principal about why your child didn't have a coat so they weren't allowed to go out for recess, like you're not going to be able to explain to the principal that your child made the decision this morning at 5 to not bring a coat to school and that you're gentle parenting and letting them make choices when CYS shows up at your door because you're not dressing your kids right. So, I think that in some cases you have to decide what's important to you do your best to just, look people at, and you've got to be Jill. I think you got to channel Jill. And if somebody's giving you grief, just do Jill's, just give them Jill attitude, which I think is great. And, and just do your best, because you're never going to be able to make everybody happy all at once. That's just not going to happen.
I think with, I do have older children also. And I think one of the biggest things I've learned was I never wanted to disappoint them.
Right.
I never wanted to disappoint my kids. I didn't want my kid not to have the paper mache. So I stayed up all night doing it. Then you're tired in the morning. Then everybody's cranky, and then you're cranky. And then it got to the point where at the end of the day, till this day, I'm so exhausted. Like literally, we do the nighttime routine. My husband goes and watches football. We watch football every day, every minute of the day, if you guys know us. My boys are in the front room watching, whatever they're watching. I literally sneak to my room and sit in my bed and I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want anybody to talk to me, touch me. And I sit this is every night. And I finally got to the point where I'm like, I love them and they need a good mom. And not that I'm not a good mom. I need something that is about me. And like you said, yours was college. Mine is my horses. And for a long time, I gave it up. And they got a real crappy mom for a good while, because I was doing for them, thinking that's what I was supposed to do. Meanwhile, you and I both know, CP, when those kids are gone, you're stuck with what you've made your life.
Yeah.
So if I've given up everything, so these kids are happy, which we all know they're never happy, then there's nothing left of me. So I had to learn that a very, very hard lesson. And I would tell parents that in a heartbeat. You don't have to go to the extreme where you do nothing for your kids and, you're out. But have something for yourself, something, anything. Chrissy, I know you love to read. And I love to read too, but my house is way too noisy to read. So you just have to have something that makes you still happy. And my kids come to the barn with me every day. And so it's my thing, but they're part of it. They play in the dirt, they dig holes, they do whatever. But still, that's something that's for me. And I think that is the biggest thing. We will never have enough to go around, but we have to have enough for ourselves. Because if we don't have enough for ourselves, we are no good to all these kids.
That's excellent advice, because I am running on dead E. And I was like, all I want to do is sit and read. And I was going to clean some of these clothes baskets up. But you know what? I'm not. Tonight, I'm just going to order pizza and sit on my butt. You just inspired that right now.
I'm telling you, that's the biggest thing I've learned. I turned 50 and I realized, you know what? There's nothing left of me, because with 6 kids and 5 grandkids and all these people, I can't make them happy. I can't. And I try, and I love them, and I'll love them to my last breath. But if there's nothing left for me, what good did I do? And what did I teach my kids?
Mm-hmm.
What did I teach my kids? That everybody else is more important than you? No, they're not. Because once these kids are finally gone and out of my house, what is going to be left for me? So that's the big thing. Like I said, we can love these kids, and you be there for them, and you be there for your husband or your significant other or whatever, whoever. But if there's not enough for you, then none of this was worth it. So that's my 50-year-old advice.
And it's funny, because I was thinking this morning that I had read something somewhere, and it was an adult child, and someone was saying, they were saying, well, why would I bother talking to my mom? Because she doesn't have any interests and there's nothing to talk to her about. And I thought, it's a great case of one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't, because we're looking at this adult child's reflection of their mother now, under societal norms now. But that mom was raising that child, started raising that child 20 years ago, when we were told as mothers, our entire existence was our children. So that, I feel bad for that mom who was doing what society expected of her.
And doing her best.
And exactly, and is now being judged on a completely different standard. And I'm going to say, at least be respectful of your mom if she
Oh.
wasn't abusing you, but you're saying, well, we don't have anything to talk about, so I don't even want to, whatever. But, times change so quickly, and so I don't know what to tell people. I think the internet is good right now because as parents, we have a better opportunity of finding our own people, finding our village, and those people who think like us. So we're not stuck with the parenting books that are the only, or magazines that are trying to sell us something, whether it's This Perfect Life or, these curated pictures. We can find people who are real and who can validate how we feel, but also maybe push back and challenge us to change our thinking. So, challenge people to say, when somebody says to you, when they start shooting all over you, to just like set a boundary and walk away from it. And I think that maybe, there's never going to be enough of us to go around as far as society wants. But I think challenging each other to think about what we want, forget about society. Because society is going to change in 5, 10, 15 years. And, we may end up being resentful that I was trying to be this June Cleaver mom living this Leave It to Beaver life. And now everybody is kind of maybe saying, oh, Peg Bundy was a better mom because she focused on herself. Like, I don't know, whatever. But, at the very least, when our kids get older, we could say, I may not have been the best parent, but I was true to myself and I did what was important to me. And all I could do is my best. And I did notice, Jill, that you worked in grandchildren.
Yes, I did. I had to throw that in there for you. So. And I think a good thing is, it's so funny that you said that. First of all, if one of my children ever said something like that to me, said that about me, not to me, because they would never say it to me, but if that would crush me.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's funny that you brought that up, because the one time I asked my kids, all 6 of my kids, what am I good at? Like, what if I always say to them, if I died tomorrow, what would you remember about me? Because you want to know. I'm sorry, I want to know. And like, my one little boy at the time, he was like 4. He's like, you like Dr. Pepper and you drink, you eat pizza. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I always ask my kids, what would you remember about me? Like, what do you know about me? Like, if somebody asked you what your mom was like, and they all had different things, but it's funny to hear like their point of view of their mom. And I will be happy to say, other than the fact that the only thing Teague knew about me was that I drink Dr. Pepper, it changed my view, because I asked my big kids, and I have groups of kids, and it really opened up my eyes to, wait a minute, that's what my kids think about me. So it helped me realize what kind of mom I wanted to be, or how I wanted to put myself. I don't care about anybody else. I could care less what anybody in this world thinks about me. If you don't pay my bills, I really don't care about your opinion. But I really wanted to know what they thought of me. And it helped me shape the kind of person I want to be in their eyes. If my kid said, oh, my mom doesn't have any interest, she cooks, cleans, washes the blue jeans, that's what my husband says, that would like crush my soul. So ask your kids, your little ones, Julia and Christy, just be like, so what would you say about mommy? Like, what would, just to see what your kids actually think about you. Because if they're like mine, they did not hold back. A couple of them did not hold back.
But I just cook, clean, and drive them around. So like at this current time, I really don't have any kind of outside of the house hobby. I read and I cook and bake, but that's because of the circumstances that I'm in. Like, because I've been stuck here for 12 years.
4 kids. Yeah.
But
4 little kids.
You think that they see you just reading, but like one of my kids said to me, Mommy, you're so smart, you know everything. because they see me reading, they see me research and stuff. And so for me to be like, oh yeah, I just lay around and read magazines, because I do. And, I love to read about horses, like bloodlines and stuff like that. But my kids, in their eyes, they thought,
You're
oh my God.
learning. That's
Yes.
cool.
It was like I little do they know I'm just reading about horses. But, they thought, like my one little boy thought I was the strongest woman in the world because I'm out there working in the barn. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just nice to see through their eyes what we are. Sometimes it's not nice. I'm going to warn you. But, but I think that that's a big thing. Like, I don't care what anybody else thinks of me, but when you hear what the little people in your life think, or even the I don't ask the adults. We don't want to know what they're going to say. But no, that's what I think it's a big thing, because that is what you're putting out there for your kids.
Well,
That's going to be too.
I'll say that one year when my youngest was still pretty young, they said after Christmas, Santa doesn't bring you any presents, Mom. It must be that you're not good. Meanwhile, you all know behind the scenes that is because I am scrimping and saving every possible penny so that they could have that Christmas that we all want our children to have, where they get the gifts that they want and the snacks and the experiences and all that stuff, take time off work. But, my youngest, hearing from society, if you're not good, Santa doesn't bring you presents, Mom doesn't get presents, what does that say about Mom? So after that, I was like, I guess I'm buying myself some presents for Christmas.
Yay.
So I think that that's kind of important to recognize, is even though, and we talk about this when we do the what to do while you're waiting for services. In that training, we talk about the importance of self-care, and we talk about it first, because every training that you go to, they tack it on at the end. We're talking about it first. And I think that what you can say, Chrissy, is you're going to take that time to yourself, but verbalize, I had a tough week this week. We had a lot going on. You know what? I need to give myself a break. So we're going to have pizza tonight, and I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to hang out here and read. And I know that you guys are capable of entertaining yourself and taking care of yourself. I'm here if you need me. But let them know that you're doing it as self-care. And then it won't just be, maybe they won't just be making their own story in their head of Mom is lazy. Or, I mean, I know that maybe that's what we might tell ourselves because of societal pressures. Like, oh, there's laundry to fold and I'm sitting here reading. Like, I'm going to take a break. I need a break. I've had a tough week. And there's so much of that. I love the fact that they're now talking about the emotional labor that goes into the tasks. So you open the refrigerator and you see food in it. And I don't know that we have verbally acknowledged to each other everything that goes into what it takes to get that food in the fridge, or what it takes to get that meal on the table. So definitely take care of yourself, make time for yourself. My oldest said something this year that I loved. I don't know if she was going to the pool. She was going to be somewhere. And I said something about having to shave your legs. And she went, that's none of my business. And she said, if other people are offended by my unshaved legs, that, my legs aren't perfectly smooth, that's none of my business that they feel like that. And I was like, oh my God, I love that she says that she feels that. Like, if you're not happy that my legs aren't unshaved to your liking, you just keep that attitude over there. Love that.
I do too.
I hope more of our girls feel like that. More of our children. Forget just our girls. So do we have any parting words of wisdom? Jill came on to learn some tips and dropped some wisdom on us.
Yeah, that's I saw a something on Facebook the other day that said it says take time for yourself to take care of yourself, because if you don't, your body's going to decide to, and it's not going to be convenient. So,
Yeah.
you know, and I was like thinking about that because all of us at our house are sick. We've been sick for a month, and I'm still running ragged, sick. And it's like, I definitely have to take a couple minutes just to breathe and get some medicine in me so I can help them not be sick too. So,
You do have PTO. That's what it's there for. Just saying.
oh, next week, don't you?
Okay. All right. Chrissy, any words of wisdom?
No, but I do feel like all of your words of wisdom were helpful. I mean, my guess words of wisdom would be just keep on trying to do whatever your best is. And that might change week to week. My best this week was not my true best. It was just, can I make it through this day? How can I make it through this day? Because moving with kids is hard. Working is hard. This time of year is hard. Trying to make sure that they have, Spirit Week and school picture money and book fair money and their Halloween costumes, and they need this snack for this and sign up for this. And so if we're all just trying our best, I think that's enough. Because honestly, mine have had pizza once this week. They're having pizza again. And I'm going to order Walmart groceries, and it's probably not going to be the best, but I'm going to get groceries in the refrigerator, and we can just do what we can do, honestly.
I think we need to come up with a grading scale of like our best in a stressful week is the best. That's good enough. That is good. Yeah.
If I was grading myself, this would be like a C week, maybe like a D+ week. It is.
Well, that's my cleaning motto. So I used to want to have my house completely spotless, and but adopting a 5-year-old whirlwind, my new cleaning motto is it's better than it was. And that's what I do. I mean, okay, the dishes are out of the sink, and I can sit on the couch. It's better than it was.
I love that. I love that motto. And you know what? My kids they do not live with me. Is my house spotless? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Chrissy saw the other side of my house last week. I have like a pile of stuff to go down to the basement, and it's just growing and it's getting bigger, and it's just been there for so long now that like that's where it lives.
It's fine.
The basement pile.
Yeah. I have a nice pile behind me here. I'll show you all that I have to figure out where it goes from the move. Oh, we're going this way. Here you go. See, do you see my lovely pile? I got to figure out where to put that. I'm out of closet space. I have nowhere to put it. So it's going to have to go like in the trash can.
Yeah. Everybody has
Everybody has piles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. And people don't believe that, but they do. Like literally you're zoomed in here because I have horse tack right here, and I have grandchildren clothes and toys and stuff. That's where so this is why you only see this. Because this is probably the neatest part of my house.
Right.
Yep. Isn't that what we talked about though when we said we were podcasting? Is you just need to find a spot that's like that spot that's good enough to be clean, and you're fine. So if you're listening, if you're watching, this may be a clean spot or an organized spot or pretty spot.
Yeah. And those little perfect spots you see on Facebook.
Yes.
That's the only clean spot in their house too.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.